Okay, project hand right now is I'm going to be wrapping the brick mold on my back door in aluminum. So right now we got it flaking off. This door is only probably 3 years old and all the paint's already flaking off. So I'm going to bend and wrap it in aluminum. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So this right here is the front door that is already done. You can see it looks nice. We didn't actually cut down and around that piece there where there was an indent. So this back here, a little bit's all void, but it looks nice. This here we did with a brake buddy for the trim brake, but I don't have that right now. So I'm going to be bending it all by hand. Okay, so this right here is essentially what we're making. It is 8 inches wide, which is real nice because a roll of coil stock is 24 inches wide, so you can get 3 of them out of it. So what it does is it actually goes back 1.25 inches. We have a 1/2 inch bend, gets it back flat. This total here is 2 9/16. This here is 3.5, and it comes out to be a little bit wider. It's probably more 1/2 inch to 9/16, but I cut it down to where this little lip here is only 3/8. This will slip in behind the weather stripping. So I'm going to show you how to do it on this one piece right here. This is going to be my header piece, but they're all going to be the same. It's just that the other two for the rails up and down are just going to be a lot longer. Once you get into the brake, you want your pretty side down. In this case, it's going to be white, so white's going to be down. It might be tan, it might be black, but you want your colored side that you want to show face down at first. Then you're going to mark out 1.25 inches on both sides. It's easier with 2 people because, you know, one person marks one side, the other person marks the other side. Okay, so we got my 1.25 inches, clamp it down. So you got it clamped down, it's 1.25 inches. You want to bend it up to 90. Sometimes I like to do just a little bit more than 90. It makes it a nice tighter finish. So right there is a little bit more than 90. And usually, what I've noticed on this brake at least, is on the ends it bends it a little bit more than what it does in the middle. So it's just something to be aware of. Next piece we're doing is this little 1/2 inch indent here. So we're going to measure out 1/2 inch and reclamp it. You could also go like 3/8. I might do 3/8. Let me go measure the other ones, and they are roughly about 1/2 inch. So we're just going to keep with the 1/2 inch. So we're just going to keep with the 1/2 inch. I also took my test piece here. Obviously, you want to do test pieces before you start messing with the actual full lengths. Fit it on there, and it fits on there pretty well. So we'll just keep what we got. Okay, we got our 1/2 inch. We're going to clamp it. Okay, then we're going to bend it up. We're not going to bend it the full 90 though. So we're just going to literally bend it up just a smidge. Just to get it a little slight angle across here. Unclamp it. Now we're going to take the whole thing out and flip it. Once you flip it, you're going to slide it back in with the pretty side up. Now from the bend itself, we're going to do another little bit. Now realistically on this bend, it's difficult to get where you want it to go. So what I'm doing is I'm just shoving the whole thing in, not even measuring it and clamping it. Obviously, we can come back through and double check. We're a 1/2 inch from the back lip here to the bend, and we're the same there. Then we're going to bend it to where this lip is actually, the piece that we just did, is going to be parallel with the ground. Bend it up just a little bit, maybe a little bit more. So that looks good. That's parallel with ground. What I'm talking about is this top ridge right here. We want that to be flat with the ground. So we were pretty much just bending it up until we got that flat. Now, once we do that, we pull it back out again and put it back in. Pretty side down. Now on my brick mold, we're going to go over 2 9/16. And I'll show you why. Okay, so this brick mold here is 2 inches to there. But if we go 2 9/16, see right there, it gets us back to this plane here, to where then it's all going to be one plane. It's going to come out and go straight over. I'm not even worried about furring this out. If you were worried about it being dented in or something, you could fur that out, but I'm not going to. You could also try and bend it around that curve, but I just don't see the point in it. So we're going to roughly clamp it down. We're going to do 2 9/16. You could go just a smidge less, maybe a 1/16 less, and it would be a real tight fit. Good. A lot of brakes that I have worked with, If you pull it just not in the fully tight position, but if you have it back in this position, it'll keep it to where it won't move in and out as easy. But this one here needs to be adjusted so it doesn't hold it as well. So that's why I always clamp down and double check. So this one here is going to be a full 90-degree bend. Obviously, you could take it just a smidge more and it'll make it a little tighter fit. Okay. Now, once again, you're going to keep it the same way in, pretty side down. And we're going to come out 3.5 inches. Three and a half. This one here, we're also going to do a 90-degree bend. This bend is actually this one right here, your final bend. After that, then we'll be able to cut a sliver off. And that right there is what you're left with. So obviously, this piece here is a little bit thicker than what you want it to be because you only have so much space in behind that weather stripping. Currently, it is at 9/16, so we actually want to cut that down to about 3/8 of an inch. And I'm not even going to measure it. I'm literally just going to take my finger, do roughly 3/8 of an inch, scrape it down, obviously the bent side. You don't want to be scraping it down the cut side. And just go all the way down this whole thing. Doesn't need to be perfect at all. It's just to get just a little bit of sliver in behind that weather stripping. Now what you can do is you can take your green and red tin snips and just cut that whole length right on that line. Now, just be careful on that cut edge because it's obviously going to be sharp because it's a cut edge. But what I'm going to try and do is, I've never done this before, but I'd like to almost wear it out. But probably the only way to do that would be with a file. A lot of times you don't have a file with you. But yeah, it's just something that you got to be cautious of. So, let's go see if this thing fits. Okay, so now that everything is cut out, next step is to actually install it, but first we got to prep. So we're going to cut out all this old caulking on both sides. Then we have to cut all the caulking at the bottom here by the threshold. And on this door, you might not have this, but there's actually a metal cap on top of this. So we need to cut all the caulking off of here, figure out how that's attached, and pull that out because we don't need that anymore. Now, I'm going to do all that off camera because it's not that interesting to do. But all I do, the easiest way that I have found to do it, is with this. You take your oscillating tool. It doesn't have to be a terribly sharp blade. And then you just go bzzz, bzzz, right up both sides. And it should be able to pull right out. So now what we're going to do, put one nail up here in the top corner. You'll never see this one once our top piece is in. And we're also going to put a couple in the side here. Don't put any in the front. Never put any in the front. And just nails probably aren't 100% necessary for it, but you could always just take some adhesive, shove behind there, and put the thing on, and it would probably be good enough. We're going to put enough silicone around the outside of these channels and everything that it would hold it in. that up there. Mark that roughly about there. Always plan to do it just a little bit long. Okay, so that right there is the finish that you get. It looks pretty good. Obviously that just goes right to the edge. It slides up underneath of this J channel here. You'll obviously caulk that seam there, caulk that one there, but there's no need to even caulk that one at all. So then the only other seams you'll have to do is down the J channel here. Along the back side here, and what you could do is you could put a little bit here, and I will put a little bit here on the inside. Obviously you can see there that this one here was cut a little bit too short. This one here is kind of more like what you're wanting for. You want that piece to come down all the way to your sub threshold, I guess is what you'd call it. But that one's fine. It'll fill up the caulking. It'll be fine. It's not too difficult. It's just a matter of taking your time and making sure you measure things out. So I'll see you guys in the next one.